Hello again, everyone. Today I've got a semi-difficult photo shoot. I'm going to actually leave the lights on, which I normally don't do, but in this case, the homeowner wants the lights on. So what we're going to do is we're going to deal with shooting a long way down with multiple walls in our way, and how we're going to light all this. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually set up over here in the corner, and what I'm going to do is make you dizzy. No, is I am going to get this room. This is my primary focus, and then I have to get this kitchen hallway down there, and if you could see the far door at the opening at the very end. This isn't a door that shuts, so I'm going to have to light up back there as well. So let me show you how I'm going to do the lighting. Okay, I have the lighting set up for what I'm going to do. For this room, for the main room, I'm going to use an old system of mine, this Bolt system. And if you're wondering where is my AD200, well, it broke. The switch broke, and I had to send it in to get a new one. Yay. But I did get the Amazon extended warranty, so I will get a free one. All right, so that is the light that's going to light up this room. For the kitchen, what I did is I put a light, a really tall one. So I used a tall stand, and I have it, what will be when you look at it from the angle that we're shooting, it will be on the right-hand side. All right, I'm going to take a photo with that, and then I'm going to move it over to the left-hand side. Now, as far as keeping the lighting consistent, I also put, let's go around this way, put a flash over here, even though that door moved on me. Since I got all these white doors, what I'm going to do is open this door and let that flash go, which is going to bounce up off that ceiling. And because it's got that white backdrop behind it, it'll actually bounce light towards where I'm standing right now. And here's the opening that we're illuminating anyway. So let me back up a little bit, give you a different perspective of what it's going to be. So we're just trying to light up this section that we can see from our angle from the main shot. All right, so hopefully that helps a little bit. Now let me get set up on the camera and give you that view. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, as always, go ahead and get my composition. Notice on the left-hand side, I'm just getting past that window there. And on the far right, I want to show that hallway because this is the big shot of this condo. Right, so I've got everything lined up and level. So what I'm going to do, I'm not sure I'm going to show this on the video. So the first shots I'm going to take, I'm going to point the flash that's right beside me. I'm going to point that straight up. As we know, over here to the right, we have a flash, and we'll take the first photos on that side. Then I'm going to move the flash behind, or actually, I don't even care if I can see it. I'm going to move it on this side over here and take the other ones, and then go into Photoshop and do what I need to do as far as the editing goes. Some of the lighting situations I see here is I'm going to use, like I said, I'm going to use the main flash beside me. I'm going to bounce it straight up. And then I'm going to also do one photo with an umbrella pointing down here to get that illuminated. I really can't hide a flash. The other side of the wall is like right here on the edge. So I'm just going to point a umbrella down here and get that. As far as settings go, I'm going to be at, let's see, I'm going to darken it up just a little bit. I'm going to be at about a 40th of a second. My f-stop is 7.1, and my ISO will be 320. A lot of people ask me why I don't use a 100 ISO. Whenever you raise the ISO, it increases the power of the flashes. Not only does that save the battery, but it really helps illuminate the room if you're using some weak flashes. But anyway, and there's hardly any grain in photos these days at the lower ISOs. So I like shooting at 320. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on taking these photos. We'll go into Photoshop and start editing them. All right, everyone, I've got the photos loaded in, and here is the first photo I took, and that is with the other flash in the kitchen off to the right. You can see where there's a lot of flash on the ceiling. Next photo is I turned down the flash that's right beside me just a little bit. Everything else is the same. In the next photo, you can see I moved the flash in the kitchen from the right to the left. And then on the last one, that is where I used an umbrella to shoot down that hallway to the right. So what we're going to do is put these together and see what we come up with. Okay, the first thing I'd like to do in Adobe Raw, and that is going to be to calibrate the white balance. I'm going to use this white right over the fireplace. Go ahead and take that sample, go to the next photo, do the same thing all the way through all the photos. That way, before I even get into Photoshop, even though this won't be the final white balance, at least they're all calibrated the same. So now I'm going to load them into Photoshop. Okay, I'm on photo number 1. It's nice and bright. I'm going to go ahead and on my Mac hit Command A to select everything, Command C to copy, select number 2 picture, Command V and paste. So now I've got both of the photos, one on top of the other in layers. Now what I'm going to do is make a mask on the top one, and I'm going to toggle back and forth. So I'm going to kind of tone down this left-hand side, which is a little bright, tone that down to the one beneath it. So I'm going to select my brush tool, and I'm going to paint with black so it will reveal, and I'm going to change the opacity down, let's just say 23%, and kind of tone down the brightness over here on the left-hand side just a little bit. And let me toggle back and forth. Yep, I'm going to do it to the ceiling fan as well. Tone it down just a little bit. It's a little too bright. Maybe one more shot here. A couple clicks on the fireplace. Okay, now I'm going to go over here and flatten, right-click and flatten that image. I'm going to take that one, Command A, Command C, go to picture number 3, Command V. Yes, there are different ways that you can do these layers. This is just the way that I prefer to do it. And I'm going to make another mask. Now for this one, if I toggle back and forth, this is having the light to the right and the light on the left. So what I'm going to do, using the brush tool again, knock my opacity down just a little bit more to 13 or less than for 13%, so I can gently blend that in so where it looks realistic from left to right. There's this little bright spot over here, and if I toggle, it disappears a little bit. Darken that just a tad. All right, one more. See if there's anything else that I can use that for. All right, look at the hot spot down at the bottom. You see how it goes from the right to the left? I'm going to use that as well. So now I'm going to raise the opacity to 100%. Okay, I'm going to hit Command Z because I don't like that. Let me drop that down from the opacity down to 54% and gently bring that in a little bit. There. Looks more realistic. See if there's any other change I can make. Before, after, before, or the one beneath it. Nope. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten that image. Now, Command A, Command C, and click the next picture, Command V. Put them in layers again. Now this is the one where I was concentrating more on the right-hand side of the photo. All right, so I think I see what I want to do. Of course, create another mask layer. I'm going to go over here to the polygon lasso tool, and I am going to trace out around this door best I can. Coming on down. Now I like to kind of spread that out a little bit before I finish that out, so we don't have, if I were to come across with a line and do edits, the floor changes colors. This way I can kind of blend the floor just a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is go back over to the brush tool. We're going to paint with black. We're going to go with 34%. And yes, I'm just randomly picking these out, thinking, all right, I just want a little bit of a change at a time, and I'm going to brush in that side there to the right. Toggle back and forth, and I don't really need to toggle. So let's Command D to get rid of the lines. All right. So that brightens it up a little bit. Now I may add a little, bring this opacity on the brush down to like 13% and go wide and put in just a little bit there to blend everything together. All right, not looking too bad. A couple things I don't like. We'll see if we can fix that here in a minute. And that is how bright it is in the very back over here. But I'm going to open this up. I'm going to merge this, flatten it, and then I'm going to open this up again in Adobe Raw to do my final changes. Okay, now I'm back in Adobe Raw. First thing I want to do is go here to Geometry and work on getting this totally straight and level. Even though I thought I did when I took the picture, it always needs a little final touch in post. All right, now I'm going to go to white balance. I'm going to see what happens if I hit auto. Okay, it really changed it a lot, but I think it's too much. What I'm going to do is lower it or fix the temperature a little bit, bring it to -5. The walls were a little bit of a bluish gray, so I'm going to keep tweaking here. See, somewhere right around there, maybe a little less, a little more temp, I guess, to the yellow. There, that looks pretty much like what I saw. I'm going to do one other thing though. I'm going to take the brush tool and I'm going to brush on a little yellow on the temperature, a little warmness, and hit this bottom area right here. It just looks a little too cool. Let me up it just a little bit because it didn't make much of a change. Maybe right there, a little bit down here below. All right. And then one other thing, because now I'm being nitpicky, I'm going to pick a new brush, and this time I'm going to try brushing in some negative saturation, just because there's a little bit too much color in the ceiling for me. So I'm going to select, and we got a white ceiling fan, so that really helps. Don't have to worry about taking the color away. All right. So now that I got that all brushed in, I can really play with the saturation. Bring it down even more. Yep, that takes care. Let me go the opposite way. See, that's all the color. If I turn it all the way up, that's the color that I saw. And let's bring it back down again so where that is white. And that looks fairly decent. Let me reduce the size of this to what it would be on the MLS. And not half bad. The last thing I think I want to do is tone that down in the back. I'm going to get another brush. This time let me fix saturation. I'm going to bring down the highlights and the exposure just a little bit, just to make that a little less bright in that back. That flash we put back there, I guess I had it a little too high. I'm going to add a little yellow to it. It looks a little too blue for me. All right. Take a look at the picture the way it will be on the MLS again. And there we go. Pretty happy with that. Thank you very much, and I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.